Well, before we start our XL lesson, I just want you to realize this. For SL students, for SL, the curriculum, we are actually in the macroeconomics. But I just want you to know that for HL students, you're still in the final chapter of the microeconomics. So don't get yourself confused. Okay, so right now we are actually in the final part of this microeconomics for HL students. Okay, all right. Okay, so so this is actually the final chapter. Okay, so after we have finished the first part of theory of firms, then of course there will be the second part, and this is the final part of the theory of firms, and we are going to focus on market structures. Okay, market structures, everyone. Okay, so everyone can hear my voice, right? Yeah, everyone cool? Oh, oh, my bad. Guys, I forgot to turn on the mic. So, um, yeah. So you haven't heard anything that I just said, didn't you? Okay. All right. Hi, guys. Do you guys hear my voice? Yeah, all right, yeah, cool. Okay, yeah. So I will say this again, and yeah, for HL students, I want you to realize this. Yeah, right now we are still in the microeconomics, okay? But when you are studying SL contents, you're actually in the economics, okay? Yeah, because for HL contents, we still have something that we have to deal with, and that is the theory of firms. Okay, so make sure you are not confused by that. Okay, for SL curriculum, you are in macroeconomics, but for HL contents, you are still in the final part of theory of firms, which is part of microeconomics. Okay, yep. Yeah. So after we have finished theory of firm part one, of course, there is another part, and which is the final part of theory of firm. Uh, we are going to focus on market structures. Okay, yeah. So for market structures, I am going to split it into four parts. Okay, so yeah. So you I'm pretty sure now you realize there are four kinds of market structures. So I'm going to split this in four parts. And for the first part, yeah, this is something that you are very familiar with because you have done that from GCSE, and that is perfect competition. Okay, so yeah, so let's go to the content. Oh, what's this? How do I get rid of this? No. Yep. Okay. All right. So here, once again, is a very general definition of market structure. I'm pretty sure you already know that. Definition. So market structure. Once again, we are trying to see the characteristics of some markets or industries in order to trying to explain why some firms in some sort of market structures, why they have a specific set of characteristics or behavior. So this is what we are trying to study. We're trying to study the behavior of different firms. Okay, and when we are trying to divine the characteristics or the behavior into different groups, then we have the market structures. Okay, so that's market structures. Okay, and from GCSE, you know there are two market structures, okay? But there are actually four. So I'm now going to show you the rest of the two, okay? So it is something like this, okay? The market structure, okay? So we have four market structures in economics, actually, okay? So it's like a spectrum. So you can just look at this like a spectrum. So take a look at this. You have two extreme cases, Okay, so which is the perfect competition on the left and the monopoly on the right. Okay, because it's just like a spectrum. So when you look at the arrows beneath, the four categories, and you will see, okay, on the left hand side, you will see inside perfect competition, you are going to find a lot of competition inside that market. Okay, if you define that market as a perfect competition, then you are going to see some very big competition going on in the market. And if you go to the right, okay, you will see the competition will get less and less. All right, until it gets to monopoly, there will be no competition. All right, so it's just like a spectrum. Yeah, and when you look at the second arrow, it's just like the same, right? Because there are so much competitions in perfect competition, and that's why the firms there, they don't have market control at all. Okay, because the competition is just too great. Okay, and if you move to the right, then you will see the firms will have more and more market control. Yeah, and if you go to the right hand side, monopoly, that is where the firms, they will get absolute market control. Okay, so it's just like a spectrum. All right, guys. Yep. So that's market structure. Okay, and we are going to explain each of them. Okay, yeah, and that's why I'm going to split this into 4 parts. Okay, and for this one here, I'm going to focus on perfect competition. Okay, yeah. All right. So here, once again, we have done this from part 1, so I'm not going to ask you to answer all the questions because we have repeated this for so many times, even in IGCSE. So very quickly, okay. So once again, in different market structure, you will see different characteristics, different sets of characteristics, and this is the assumptions that we have for perfect competition. Okay, so the number of firms you are going to expect for perfect competition, yeah, I mean, when we are going through all these assumptions, you just have to think about this in your mind. Okay, very quickly. So number of firms, is going to be a lot of firms. Okay, in perfect competition, right? Because this is what we assume. This is what we assume. This is the behavior that we assume when we are in the perfect competition. This is what we are going to see. Okay, so that's why this is what the economists, they would like to find out. Okay, different markets, different firms, what kind of behaviors that they are going to have. Okay, so there are going to be a lot of firms, and they are in very small size. Okay, yeah, because the competition is just too big, and they cannot get any bigger because yeah, because there are so many competitors there. Okay, so they are so small, they become so small, and there are so many firms. Okay, and the barriers to entry and exit, there will be no barrier to entry and exit. Okay, so it's free to enter and exit the market, right? Right? We have known this already. Okay, and because the competition is so great, why is it so great? It's because in perfect competition, they are all selling identical products. Okay, so that is what we know. Yeah, they are all selling homogeneous or what you can say identical products in the market. Okay, so that's why they don't have market control at all, because everyone, they are selling the same thing, and there are so many competitors. Okay, and if you talk about the fourth one there, if they have perfect or imperfect information, so obviously they have perfect information. Okay, for both firms and consumers, they all have perfect information. So when you talk about perfect information, information of what? So here, these are some examples of information that they know completely. Okay, talking about the product information, the prices, the resources, the method of making that product. Okay, they have perfect information in all of those. Okay, so you can see here, if the consumers, they know all the information about the products, all the information about the prices, then they will not, okay, they will not pay for a higher price. When they see some shops in the market, they are selling the products in higher prices, because they know where they can get the cheapest price for that product. Yeah, because now we assume people, they know perfect information. Okay, so because of that, and you understand why they don't have control at all. Okay, because we assume people here, the consumers, they know everything. They know all the prices. Yeah, so they no one can cheat on them. Okay, you cannot. Okay, because in the reality, sometimes we buy products in a higher price because we don't know where we can get the cheapest price in the market. Okay, but here we assume everyone has perfect information, and that's why no one can set lower price for the consumers. Okay, and also for the firms. Okay, why they have no control at all? Because we assume the firms, they know all the information about how to get let's say the cheapest resources, or they have already known all the technology for that production. So no firm is actually able to produce at a lower cost than its competitors. Okay, yeah. So these are um, the assumptions. Okay, these are the assumptions that we used to know. Okay, and that's why, yeah, you can tell why they have no control in the market. Okay, based on all these assumptions. Okay, yeah, all right. And in IB economics, we have one more assumption that we haven't talked about this before, and which is this one here. Okay, so we assume one more thing. Okay, in perfect competition, there is a perfect resource mobility. Okay, so once again, you have heard about the word mobility. Mobility is about the occupational mobility, or geographical mobility. Yeah, it's basically how easy it is for the workers or the labor when they change from one job to another one. Okay, usually there should be some cost when you change from one job to another, or change from one location to another. But here we assume in perfect competition. Okay, yeah, when you look at the definition here, the resources, okay, bought by the firm, they can transfer from one firm, or from one industry to another without any cost. Okay, so there's just one more very unrealistic assumption that we have for perfect competition. So basically, perfect competition doesn't exist in the real world. It's like a unicorn. It's like a unicorn in the world. You cannot find it. Yeah, you cannot find it. Okay, so but still, we are gonna use it to study the behavior of the firms. Okay, it helps us to study the behavior, to predict the behavior of some firms. Okay, yeah, yeah. So we have 5 assumptions for perfect competition. Okay, right. So yeah, so as the result, we know that in perfect competition, all the firms there, they are what we call price takers. Okay, price takers. If you are a price taker, then you are going to accept the price determined by the market, and you are going to stick with that price. Okay, because you cannot control the market, and that's why you cannot influence the price. Okay, so yeah, you see the 2 points there. So you are going to accept the price determined by the market, and you are not going to change it. You're just going to follow the market price, and that's why you are called price takers. Okay, yeah, and yeah, because of all those assumptions there, you can see the firms, they are going to act independently, because they don't need to care about what the other competitors thinking. right? Because we are all selling the same thing, and we are all very small firms, and we don't have any control at all. Okay, so we just act independently as long as we use the price determined by the market. That's it. We can sell whatever output that we want. Okay, so you see here, after this, then you understand why we have a demand curve for perfect competition. You know, when we are drawing the curve, is like a horizontal line. It is a horizontal line, okay, because of all those assumptions here, and we come up with this idea they are all price takers, and that's why the demand curve, the shape of the demand curve is the horizontal line. Okay, yeah, yeah. So these are all the recaps. Okay, and all right, guys. Yeah, are you guys okay? Okay, okay, all right, okay. So yeah, because perfect competition is not realistic. Okay, but still we use that for our study. Okay, for like what I said, to see the behaviors of the firms. And well, I can tell you there are some industries or markets. Okay, I would say they are the closest uh, to perfect competition. And yeah, these are the examples. Okay, so think about this. Think about the nature of the products in these markets. Yeah, in the agricultural market, in the gold and silver market, in the currency market. Okay, think about the nature of the product. Think about the market. Yeah, think about the market itself. Yeah, think about the price of the products. Right. Then you can see some similarity. Okay, when you are trying to put all these market into this category, this perfect competition category. Okay, of course, they cannot really fit into perfect competition like completely. Okay, but yeah, I would say they are the closest ones. Okay, for perfect competition. Okay, yeah, it's just for your reference. All right. Okay, yeah. All right. So here in market structure, you are going to draw a lot of diagrams. Okay, so when there is a diagram, then it is going to be important. Okay, so focus, yeah, from now on. All right, because we are going to draw some more diagrams. Okay, yeah. So take a look at this. Right, when we go to when we are in theory of firms, yeah, we know that there is short run, there is long run. Okay, so right now, forget about the detail of short run. Okay, so right now we are going to talk about perfect competition when the firms they are in the short run. How do they do profit maximization? Okay, we are going to explain the details in short run later. Okay, yeah. So basically, you just have to assume right now we are in a very short period of time. If you are some firms in the perfect competition, okay, yeah, in a very short period of time, how do you uh, do profit maximization? Okay, yeah. So here, one question for you: where is profit maximization output? Okay, how do we find the profit maximization output? How do we find it? Come on, guys. How do we find it? There are two ways to find it. Okay, when you are looking at your demand curve, or when you're looking at the diagram, how do you find the profit maximization output? Max area, MC equals M out. Yes, yes, right. Yeah, MC equals M out. Okay, so this is how we find profit maximization output. Okay, yeah, so everything that you have learned from the part one, you are going to use it here. Okay, so make sure you do your regular revision for part one. Okay, in order to understand the part two completely. So yes, okay, when MC equals M out, then you will find the profit maximization output. Okay, and yeah, and then there are only three possibilities. Okay, yeah, every time when you look at the diagram. Okay, either you can earn an economic profit, so which is your profit. Okay, sometimes they would call that abnormal profit, or you are going to earn a normal profit. So once again, what is a normal profit? What is it? What is a normal profit? Zero profit. Yeah, thank you, Kirsty. Yeah, so normal profit, which is when your total cost equal to your total revenue. Okay, so you have zero profit. Okay, yeah, but you see, because when we talk about normal profit, we include all the explicit costs. So even though if you are earning zero profit, you are still covering all your opportunity costs. So it's not that bad actually. Okay, yeah, and yeah, and the third possibility will be loss. Okay, yeah, when you cannot cover all the costs. Okay, yeah. So you have three possibilities. So there will be three diagrams that you have to draw, okay, in order to show three possibilities. Okay, yeah. So here, for this market structure, if you want to draw diagrams, okay, to describe this market structure, there are two diagrams you have to draw. Okay, yeah, in order to show this perfect competition. Okay, so yeah, here you draw two diagrams, one for the firm and one for the entire market. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to draw them very soon. Okay, yeah. Here, a quick recap. Yep, how to find profit or loss. Okay, we will take a three-step approach. Okay, so once again, first of all, you are going to find the profit maximization output. So which is the one that you told me when MR equals MC, the intersection point, that is where the output you will get the profit maximization. Okay, and after that, you are going to look at the area of total revenue and total cost if you are producing the output at the profit maximization. Okay, so yeah, TR versus TC. So basically, it's just AR versus AC if you think about this, using mathematics. Okay, yeah. So yeah, they're basically will give you the same idea, the same answer. Okay, yeah. And then because of that, yeah, if you are able to find out, okay, which one is bigger, then you will be able to perform the step three, which is finding the area of profit or loss. Okay, just like this, right? So three steps. Yeah, three steps. Okay, okay. So now we are going to try drawing the diagrams. Yeah. Wait. Let me open up the app. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So here, yeah, are you guys able to see the new screen? Yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah, so if we are in the perfect competition, we have to draw two diagrams. And so first of all, it's like storytelling. Okay, so think about this. Okay, so first of all, we know that perfect competition. Okay, in perfect competition, the firms, they are all price takers. And once again, price takers, they take the price determined by the market. Okay, so first of all, we need to draw the demand and supply curve for the market. Okay, so let's say we are talking about some kind of product, and we draw. Okay, so there's one diagram. Yeah, let's say this is for the market. Okay, so this is for the market, and when you look at this, okay, in the market you have so many consumers, so many producers, okay, and they all have their wish list. Okay, so what is a wish list? So basically that is their demand schedule and supply schedule. Okay, so when you group all the demand schedules and supply schedules together, then you are going to find two curves, right? Okay, and at the end, based on this analysis, okay, the market, they will be able to get the price where the consumers and producers, they will both feel happy about this, okay, and which is the equilibrium point here. Okay, yeah, right. So let's call that P1, and yeah, P1 for the market price, and Q1 for the market quantity. Okay, yeah, and like I said, because the firms in the perfect competition, they are price taker, and now because the market has determined the price at P1, and that's why all the firms in perfect competition will follow that price. Okay, yeah, clear? So that's why now we are going to draw another diagram just for the firms in the market. Okay, so we are going to draw one more diagram here. Okay, and that represents firms. Firms in that market. Okay, firms in that market. And because they are going to take the price determined by the market, so P1 is actually the price they are going to take from the market. So from here on, yeah, you can just perform, what you have known. Okay, is a horizontal line for the firms. So that is the demand curve of the firms in a perfect competition market. Okay, yeah. So once again, it's a demand curve, and it also represents average revenue, right? Because they are going to sell it at the same price, and because they are selling it at the same price, it's going to be the marginal revenue as well. Yeah, because you see, the more you sell, you are selling it at the same price. So every time when there is an additional revenue, it's going to be the same amount. Okay, yeah, because you can only sell it at one price. Okay, yeah, and we can say AR is actually price as well, right? Yeah, because when you do the mathematics and you know that, okay, is the price. Okay, so yeah, here, right, let's call this also P1. Yeah, P1. Okay, yep. And yeah, so now we have two diagrams. Okay, yep. So it's just like what I said, it's like storytelling. Okay, and because we know that we have to explain three possibilities. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to make the three possibilities yeah, in the diagrams. Okay, yeah. So first of all, remember the first step. First step, you are going to find the profit maximization output. So yeah, and if you want to find it, then you need to find the intersection between MR and MC. So now we are going to draw a MC curve. So once again, it's like Nike tick, yeah, like this. Okay, yeah, and we call that MC, marginal cost. Okay, so yeah, so here, right now in this intersection point, we are able to find where we can get profit maximization. So let's call that Q1. Okay, so at Q1, if they are selling it at Q1, their profit will be maximized. Okay, so this is what is trying to say. Okay, yeah, and we know that if you want to get profit at this output, okay, so at this output Q1, you are selling it at P1. Okay, so the second step is to see, okay, whether the total cost is bigger or the total revenue is bigger. Okay, or the average cost is bigger or the average revenue is bigger. So you see here, P1 is your average revenue at Q1. Okay, yeah. And if you want to make this diagram to show a profit, then you need to show me, okay, when you are producing it at Q1, the AR is bigger than the AC at Q1. Okay, okay. So yeah, and that's why the AC at Q1 should be lower than P1 at Q1. So with that being said, once again, we are going to follow the theory. So the theory is the average cost when it hits, okay, marginal cost. That is the lowest point of the average cost. So once again, yeah, just like this, right? And we call that average total cost, right? So here, look at this. Look at this. At Q1, we have an average revenue of P1 here, okay? And at Q1, where is the average cost? At Q1, this is the average cost, okay? Here, this point here, this is the average cost. So that's why if we know the concept, then if we want to show when a firm is able to perform a profit, then we just have to set that average cost at the level beneath the average revenue. That's how we find profit. So here we know that at this point, so that is here. Yeah, so this is we can call that C maybe. Yeah, so C is the average cost at the output of Q1. Okay, is this clear? Yeah, so C is the average cost when you are producing it at Q1. So in other words, okay, if we turn this into total revenue and total cost, so P1 times Q1, that is your total revenue, okay? And C times Q1, okay, which is this rectangle here, that is your total cost, okay? So P1 is the average cost. No, P1 is the average revenue, and C is the average cost at the output of Q1. Okay, yeah. So when you multiply it by Q1, then you will get the total revenue and total cost. So with that being said, then you know the profit is going to be here. Yeah, because you see here, the area of total revenue is bigger than total cost. Okay, and that's why we can come up with the answer here. This area, yeah, the extra area, right, from the calculation, that is your economic profit. Okay, yeah, right. Any confusion? All right. Okay. So yeah, so this is how we find economic profit in perfect competition in a diagram. Okay, right? Just like this. Just like this. Okay. So now, yeah. So now we just have to perform. So you can actually try drawing the other two possibilities. Okay. Yeah. Um, yeah. And when you are drawing the other two possibilities, I'm going to draw it in my iPad as well. Okay, so please try to draw when they are earning a normal profit and when they are earning a loss. So yeah, so the key point here is, the result depends on how you set up your average cost. Okay, yeah, the result depends on how you set your average cost. Okay, yeah, right here. Okay, so here, when you're trying to draw the other possibilities, okay, you can still use what we are having right now, the existing diagram here, okay? So you can see I just wipe off the average cost curve, okay? Yeah, so it's very simple. Think about this, okay? If you want to try to make a situation where you as a firm you are earning normal profit, then you just have to make this happen, okay? So when there is a normal profit, it means the average revenue equals the average cost, okay? Yeah, when you're trying to profit maximizing, uh, you know, yeah, in your firm, okay? So with that being said, then once again, okay, you have your demand curve, yeah, in the firm, and you have your marginal cost, okay, yeah, in the firm, and that's why you are able to find this is your profit maximization output. Once again, is Q1, okay? But yeah, so that is your profit maximization output, and the P1 is your average revenue when you are trying to profit maximizing the profit, okay? But when you are trying to make a normal profit, okay, you want to make the average revenue equal to the average cost at that output at Q1, okay? So yeah, and that's why you just have to move up the average cost, okay? When you move up the average cost, okay, it's going to look like this, right? Once again, based on the concepts, we know that when the average cost hits the MC, okay, that is the lowest point of the average cost, okay? So from here, we go back up like this, okay? Call it ATC again, right? And yeah, and that's why here at this point, okay, at Q1, P1 is your average revenue. And when you talk about the average cost, where is the average cost? The average cost at Q1 is here as well. Yeah, right? Because now they're overlapping. Yeah, each other. So that's why P1 is also the average cost at this point. Okay, so when you see the formula here, yeah, above, okay, on the top, then you know, okay, when you do this, total revenue is equal to total cost. Okay, so this is the situation where you can get a normal profit. Okay, so this is the second possibility. Okay, it depends on how the question asks you. Okay, so when the question asks you to draw a perfect competition diagram where the firm has normal profit, then you are going to draw this. Okay, yeah, right. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so this is the second possibility, and now we are going to the third possibility, right? So with that being said, you just have to move up your average cost, okay, a little higher. Yeah, when you move up the average cost a little bit higher, then you see the output of the profit maximization, okay, for the average cost when you do that will be higher than the average revenue, okay, at that output. So if that happens, then you will get a loss. So once again, and just quickly do this here. Okay, yeah. So once again, there's nothing you should change for the demand curve and marginal cost. Okay, you just have to change your average cost. Okay, so if you try to move up the curve, yeah, like this. Okay, yeah. So when you are doing this, then you are going to find out something. Okay, so at this quantity, yeah, when I move up the line, this is my average revenue, so which is P1. And if I keep move up the line, yeah, when I'm producing at Q1, this is my average cost. This one here, this point here is my average cost. So I will call this, once again, I'll call this C. I'll call this C. Okay, yeah. So yeah, you can see, if that's the case, then when you look at this equation here, yeah, your total cost right now is bigger than the total revenue. And that's why the area here, that is your loss. Okay, so that is your loss, right? Just like this. Okay, and if you want to look at the profit per unit, yep, it's basically, or I mean, profit or loss per unit. So basically, that's the distance. Yeah, that's the distance. Okay, so that's the loss per unit. Okay, right? Yeah, just like this. Okay, yeah, and when you see a profit, then the distance between the price, which is the average revenue, and the cost, the average cost, will be the profit per unit as well. Okay, yeah. So yeah, just like this. Okay. Yep. Any questions? Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So now, right. So now you have all three possibilities. Okay, you're able to draw. Okay, for your perfect competition. All right. So that is good. Yeah. If you have any questions, you are more welcome to ask me. Right, during class or after class, using email, WhatsApp. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Communication method that you have with me. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So here, right, just like this. That's how you can easily find the three possibilities. Yeah, outcome. I mean, the outcome from perfect competition. Yeah, when you're trying to profit maximizing the profit. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So once again, in the PowerPoint, I'll show you. Yeah, like a better diagram. Yeah, you see here. Yeah, because it's computer generated. Yeah, and that's why here, once again, economic profit, just like this, you have, first of all, the demand and supply curves for the market, or you can say the industry. Okay, and then based on the price determined by the market, then you have the price where the firms they are going to sell their products. Okay, just like this, and then yeah, you just have to simply draw a marginal cost curve. Yep, and then you find the intersection point. That is, so Q, that is your profit maximization output, right? Okay, and if you want to make a profit, then the average revenue, which is the price, should be higher than the average cost at Q here. Okay, so if you set your average cost, okay, like this, lower, yeah, than your average revenue, then you will find an economic profit. Yeah, and here, well, they call that abnormal profit, but they're the same. Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's how you find it. And well, you might be wondering what Q1 is. So Q1, they're just trying to show you at Q1, this is where they can get the lowest cost. Okay, if they are producing the products at Q1, this is where they can get the lowest cost. We will talk about this okay later, okay, in the chapter, right? But yeah. So Q1 is just trying to show you, yeah, this is where you can get the lowest average cost, right? Yeah, here, because you see the intersection between AC and MC, and that's where you can find the lowest average cost, right? Okay, and then you have the diagrams for normal profit in perfect competition. Yeah, when they are the same, when the average revenue and the average cost is the same. Okay, so that's how you find normal profit. And once again, at the end, okay, when the average cost at profit maximization is higher than the average revenue in profit maximization output, then you will get an area of loss. Okay? Yeah? Just like this. Right? Okay. So, all right. So here, I'm going to, yeah, so we still have 10 minutes. So I'm going to quickly explain. Okay, so because right now, once again, we are talking about short run. Okay, so you know that, okay, there will be two sets of diagrams, okay, to describe, the profit maximization in short run and long run for perfect competition. Okay, so right now we are in the short run period. Okay, but what is it actually? Yeah, what are they trying to say? Yeah, what is short run? Okay, for a perfect competition. Yeah, so here, take a look at this. Okay, if you still remember what short run is from part one. Okay, so this is actually short run. Okay, yeah, short run once again is a time period when there is at least one input is fixed, and you cannot change the amount of that fixed input in this period. Okay, so the fixed input, they are fixed in that period. You cannot change it. Okay, so based on this assumption, here, okay, we will be able to come up with the conclusions in the short run, in perfect competition. Okay, the new firms, they are not able to enter the market. Okay, in the short run, I know. Yeah, the concept is kind of vague. Okay, but I'm gonna show you an example, and hopefully you will understand why in the short run the new firms, they are not able to enter the market. Okay, so think about this. Short run is just like uh, uh at that very moment, at that particular moment. It's a very short period of time. Okay, so in that very short period of time, if we use a shop, okay, renting a shop as an example, okay, it takes time. Yeah, just like right now, okay, the masks, they are, having a very good sales. Okay, maybe some potential investors, they may want to invest in into pharmacy shops, right? Nowadays. Okay, but in the short run, in that very short period of time, they cannot really get into the market because it takes time for those potential investors to find a shop to rent. Okay, I mean, you cannot, yeah, you cannot really say, "Oh, okay, so today I want to open a shop, then there will be a shop." Okay, because it takes time to find a shop to rent. It takes time to renovate the shop, and it takes time to do some other operation before you can really open a shop. So in that very short period of time, there will be no new firms, okay, joining in the market. Okay, so this is what we can see in the short run. Okay, okay, all right. And the second point here, when you are in the short run, if you are in perfect competition, okay, the existing firms, they are not able to completely exit the market in the short run. Okay, yeah, once again, it's a bit vague. Okay, but yeah, take a look at this example. Okay, the existing firms in the market, yeah, because right now we have three possibilities. Okay, in the short run, yeah, some firms, they will earn economic profit. Some firms, they will make a draw, like normal profit, and some firms, they are going to make a loss. Okay, but for the firms who are making a loss, they are not able to completely exit the market in the short run. Why is that? If we use the same example that we use for the first point, okay, here, shop renting, okay, you will see. Take a look at this. Because when you are renting a shop, there's always a rental contract. Okay? Yeah. And when you are in a rental contract, when it is not yet expired, you still have to pay for the rent every month. Okay? So in that very short period of time, you cannot actually exit the market. Even if you exit the market, if you still have to pay for the rent. So you never exit the market. Okay, you still have to pay for something for your shop. Okay, and that is the rental fee of your shop. Okay, because the rental contract is not yet expired. Okay, yeah, is that clear? And yeah, because of the short run, and that's why we can come up with these 2 points. Okay, yeah, new firms, they are not able to enter the market, and the existing firms, they are not able to exit the market. Okay, that is what we can see in the short run. Okay, they are very important because you will see the difference when we go to the long run. So yeah, in the long run, the 2 points will be in exact opposite. Okay, so in the long run, with that being said, the new firms, they are able to enter the market, and for the existing firms, they are able to completely exit the market. Okay, so that is the difference between when you are in the short run and in the long run. Okay, is a conceptual idea. Okay, but yeah, so this is what you will see. Okay, the difference. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So here, yeah. So before we end this topic, okay. Yeah. Let's quickly finish this. Wait, let's try to finish this. Okay, before we finish this lesson. Okay. So here, in the short run, when should I shut down my shop? Well, when we are talking about shutdown, okay, we are not talking about closing this, closing a shop. We're just saying we should not produce anything. Okay, yeah. When you take a look at this table, okay, take a look at this. You will see 4 shops. Okay, 4 shops. They have different costs and the total revenue, and then they will have their own profit amount. Okay, yeah. So yeah. So these are all hypothetical numbers. Okay, so take a look at this. So for the fixed costs, let's say they all have the same fixed costs and they have different variable costs. Yeah, and together they have the total costs. Okay, yeah, and these are the total revenue. Yeah, and if you use the total revenue minus the total cost, then you will find the profit. Yeah, for shop A, yeah, there's a profit, and for shop B, C, and D, they are making a loss. So should they all shut down the production? So that's the question. Okay, so think about this. Think about this. The profit here is when the shop produce the products. Okay, that is what you will get when you produce your products. Okay, when you produce, you for shop A, you are going to get $60,000 of profit, and for B, if you produce, you will get a $5,000 of loss. Okay, but what if I do not produce? What will I lose? Yeah, you can see if I do not produce anything, I still have to pay for something, and that is your fixed cost. Okay, so here, the $10,000, it doesn't matter if you produce or not. You have to pay for $10,000. Okay, because that's what the fixed cost is all about. Okay, it doesn't matter about the output. Yep, even the output is 0, you have to pay for that fixed cost, just like the rental cost. Okay, so yeah. With that being said, if you group this one here and the profit here together, then you'll be able to find out the answer. Take a look at this. Shop for shop A, B, C, and D. Okay, if they shut down, which means they do not produce, they have to pay for $10,000 as a cost. Okay, so if they do not produce, if all of them they do not produce, they will have a cost of $10,000. Okay, and if A decided to produce, they are going to earn a 60,000 profit. So obviously, so what do you think? Should A produce or not? Should A produce or not? Come on. Yeah, produce, right? So yes, okay. So for A, of course they are going to produce. But what about B? If they shut down, they have to pay for $10,000. But if they decided to produce, they will have to pay for $5,000, and that is, the loss. So should they produce for B? Yeah, okay. So you see here, okay, it's not about whether you have a loss or not. Okay, even sometimes when you are having a loss, when you are in the short run, when you cannot completely exit the market, okay, so you have to consider this as well. Okay, and that's why for short B you still have to produce. Okay, and for C, should we produce? So now, if I produce, I'm going to lose $10,000, and if I shut down, I'm going to lose $10,000 as well. So, well, in this case, you can say yes, or you can say no, because right now the opportunity cost is the same. So you are in the very dodgy point. Okay, here. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, whether you shut down or you produce, you are going to get the same result. Okay, but for shop D, obviously, okay, you are not going to produce in the short run, because if you produce it, you are going to lose $20,000, and if you shut down, you only lose $10,000. So that's why you will decide to shut down your shop if you are shop D. Okay, so that's what it happens when it comes to short run. Okay, yeah, when the new firms cannot get into the market, when the existing firms cannot exit the market completely. So you have to decide when you should shut down your company. Okay, yeah. So that's all for today, and yeah, please make sure you do your revision. I'm going to upload the entire PowerPoint on Google Classroom, and also I'm going to upload this video on YouTube as well. So feel free to do some revision using both materials. Okay. So yeah, I'm not gonna bother you anymore. So yeah, guys, you can leave now. Okay, go to the other lesson. Okay. Yeah. Bye, guys.